Pythagorean theorem, SOHCAHTOA, stuff like that. Now I want to move into more triangles, but we're going to be classifying triangles today. Okay, so different types of classifying. We can classify a triangle by its angles. Okay, so if I am given an acute triangle, okay, so it's classified as an acute triangle. Okay, that description, it will have 3 acute angles. Okay, so all 3 of the angles within that triangle will be acute. Okay, meaning all three angles will be less than 90 degrees within that triangle. Okay, all 3 less than 90 degrees. For that next one, if there's one obtuse angle, okay, that's the description, that means this will be an obtuse triangle. Okay, so you have an obtuse triangle, that means there's one obtuse angle. Okay, that angle would then have to be greater than 90 degrees. Okay, a picture of that, you need one angle that is greater than 90. Okay, and I'll just call it 120 degrees, just so you know, yes, that's greater than 90 degrees. My next type, if I have one right angle, that would be a right triangle. Okay, one right angle, that means that angle is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, your picture, here would be my right triangle, and I'd enter or put that box in that one corner where that angle is 90 degrees. Okay, our next type of triangle is equiangular. Okay, that means all your angles are congruent to each other or equal to each other. Okay, so that's our congruency symbol. All 3 of your angles within that triangle will be congruent or equal. So that means they're all going to be 60 degrees. Okay, so all 3 those angles will be 60 degrees. So my picture here, you'll see, or it'll be labeled that all 3 of your angles are 60 if it's equiangular. Okay, questions on classifying by angles. Okay, so with your angles, you have an acute, obtuse, right, and equiangular triangle. Okay, those are your 4 different types there. We can also classify triangles by their sides. Okay, so the first type we have is a scalene triangle. Okay, scalene triangles have no sides congruent. Okay, so all of your sides are going to be different lengths. Okay, a picture of this. If I draw this little triangle here, sorry, it's so small. I'm going to label each side a different length. Okay, so if one side's 3, another's 4, and the last one's 5, all 3 of those sides are different lengths, so it would be a scalene triangle. The next type is isosceles. Okay, 2 of your sides are congruent. Okay, so 2 of those sides will be equal to each other. Okay, and I'm going to use these dash marks. Okay, those dash marks within those sides mean they are congruent. Okay, if they have the same number of dashes, those sides would be congruent to each other. Equilateral triangles. You have all sides or all three sides congruent. Okay, so all of your sides are going to be the same length. For our picture, again, I'm just going to use these dash marks. So if they have that same number of dash marks, that means they are congruent. Questions on classifying by sides? An equilateral triangle is also an equiangular triangle. Okay, so equilateral has to do with the sides of the triangle, and equiangular has to do with the angles. They both kind of have the word equal in them, okay? They're the same type of triangle. So if it is equilateral, it will be equiangular. Yeah, I knew this lesson was pretty short. All right, so on the back, what we want to do at the top is classify each triangle as acute, equiangular, obtuse, or right. So we're looking at the angles. So the first one is equiangular. Okay, all no. Sorry.
You just gotta say.
All right, so the first one is equiangular. All three of your angles are the same. What about this second one? It is obtuse. You do have one angle here that is greater than 90. Number 3 is a right triangle. You have a 90-degree angle within that triangle. Number 4 is acute. All three of your angles are less than 90 degrees. Number 5 is obtuse. This angle right here is greater than 90, so it is obtuse. And the last one is acute. Okay, that's by the angles. I don't know. All right, so focus, please. The next section here, we want to classify the triangle as equilateral, isosceles, or scaling. So this time we're looking at the sides, not the angles. Okay, so number 7, we're looking at triangle ABE. So we're going to go in order there. So from point A to point B to point E. So we're looking at this triangle here.
One. No side. No. Right. It's scaling.
It's scaling.
Like Eileen scaling.
Right.
I think you know the mistakes right there.
She says right.
Okay, so we are looking at the sides. Now if I look at this picture, quiet please. If I look at this picture, I notice these dash marks within some of the sides. All of those have to be the same. So since one of them is 8, that means all of those sides that have that dash mark in them are also 8. Okay? So in this triangle that I was looking at, I had a side of 8, a side of 8 times the square root of 2, and a side of 9. Okay? So since they're all different, it's scaling. For number 8, we're looking at triangle EDB. 2 of the sides are congruent, so it is isosceles. Number 9, triangle EBC. Okay, so this triangle here, it is scaling. Okay, I have a side of 8 times the square root of 2, a side of 8, and then this entire side would be 16. Okay, so this is scaling. Shh. You need to be quiet and you need to listen. Number 10, we're looking at triangle DBC.
Equilateral.
It is equilateral. Okay, all 3 sides are 8. All 3 sides also have those dash marks in them. Okay, so that means they're all congruent, making it an equilateral triangle. Questions on classifying by angles or by sides? All right, next problem. Shh. I would like to get through this so you can finish your assignment in class. So we should stop talking and listen. Okay, don't talk because I'm talking. Number 11, we want to find x and the length of each side if triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle, meaning 2 sides are congruent, where side AB, that segment, is congruent to segment BC. Okay, so segment AB, this one right here, is congruent to segment BC, this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to mark those as congruent. Now, if those are congruent, how could I set up a problem to solve for x? Yep.
So you can set up, so both sides AB and BC are equal, so you can set up 4x equals, 4x minus 3 equals to 5. That's all correct.
Yes. Okay, so since those sides are equal, we can set those 2 equations equal to each other. Okay, from here I can just solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 2x. So I have 2x minus 3 equals 5. Add 3. So I have 2x equals 8. And divide by 2. Okay, so x equals 4. Now we want to find the length of each side of that triangle as well. Okay, so I need to find the length of AB, of BC, and of AC. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 4 for x in each of those sides. Okay, so if I have 4 times 4 minus 3, plugging in 4 for x, I have 16 minus 3, that's 13. Now if AB and BC are equal, what should BC be? 13. Now you can plug in 4 for x for that one too. You'll get 13, but just knowing it's isosceles, those have to be the same length. And then for AC, we'll plug in 4 for x here. So we have 4 plus 2, that's 6. Okay, so we found x, and we found the length of each side. Okay, looking at 12. Okay, we're going to do the same type of process here. So we want to find x and the length of each side. Okay, so don't forget you're reading those directions and you want to find the length of each side as well. Now they're giving us that this triangle FGH is equilateral. Okay, meaning all the sides are equal, right? So I can label that with those dash marks. So now, since all those sides are equal to each other, I could just pick 2 of those sides to set equal. Okay, you don't need to use all 3. Just pick 2 of them that you think would be the easiest to solve. Okay? So I'm going to choose FG and FH. Okay? So I can set 3x plus 10 equal to 4x plus 1. You could also do 3x plus 10 equals 5x minus 8. Or 5x minus 8 equals 4x plus 1. Okay, it doesn't matter. All 3 are equal to each other. So from here I want to solve for x. So I am going to subtract 3x from both sides of my equation. I have 10 is equal to x plus 1. Subtract 1. So I have x is equal to 9. Now I need to find the length of each side. So I need to find FG, GH, and FH. So I'm going to plug 9 in for x. Okay, so I have 9 times 3. That's 27 plus 10 is 37. Now if one side is 37, all sides are 37. Okay, so I found the value of x and the length of each side. Questions on 11 or 12? Melissa? Stretching? Okay. All right, I want you guys to do 13.
I knew it.
Okay? Do problem 13. Yeah.
But what
You just don't want to do it.
the 2
That's
sides?
what you gotta do. You're just trying not to do it.
It tells you at the end of the problem.
Alright, Todd.
X plus 2 equals 8.
Not as number 12, but it's similar to number 11.
You just have to be one or the other. No.
I don't. I think I got it right.
Wrong.
I've cracked a lot of phones.
Yeah. Wait, we're plugging in together.
I just thought I had mine in my.
Wait, so if it's not actually final, the other one is just half.
Not half.
So I gotta
Plug in.
20 into the. So I gotta plug in 20 into the.
No, plug in your x value.
For this one?
Yeah.
I need to do my help. That's worse than half. Yeah.
Oh, did you have your hand raised? Oh, okay. I thought it was. Hold on. No homework, right? And the first 3 are labeling what type of triangle. You'll be okay.
Can you go through the third ones with us? 1, 2, 3.
No.
1, 2, 3, please.
13. These two sides are congruent to each other. So we can set 9x plus 2 equal to 6x plus 8. Okay, so those two sides are equal. When you solve for x, you should get x is equal to 2. You can then plug in 2 for x for all three of your sides. So we have RS is equal to 20. ST is equal to 20. And RT is equal to 5. Okay? Your assignment I put onto that pink sheet. It's not in the book. I put it onto a worksheet for you. And I forgot to change the bottom of this note sheet. It's on that pink sheet that I handed out. The first three are classifying the triangle described to you by its sides and its angles. And then the last 4, it wants you to draw out that triangle. Okay, so draw out that triangle and label it with your given information and then set up and solve.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the first 3.
No, you don't. You can
On
do
the
it.
angle, okay, help me with the first one.
The angles are classified by the angle.
What is this equal?
Oh, so I gotta say,
Just like say acute for that.
no, I got it.
Is everything else right?
E, B, C. I'm trying to figure this out. Wait, so then how do I know